There is a philosopher who wanted Homer removed from the perfect city, not because he hated poetry, not because he failed to understand it, but because he understood it too well. Plato believed that stories enter the soul before reason is strong enough to defend itself. A child hears of gods who lie, heroes who rage, kings who deceive, and long before that child can argue about justice, the pattern has already been planted. Now move forward 24 centuries. Christopher Nolan makes an Odyssey that removes most of Homer's gods, softens the cruelty of Odysseus, turns divine intervention into psychology, and replaces cosmic punishment with trauma. At first glance, it sounds almost Platonic, but then the lights go down. The audience sits in darkness. Giant shadows move across a wall. Music enters before thought. And suddenly Plato has a second problem. So the question is not merely whether Plato would have liked Nolan's Odyssey. The real question is whether Nolan solved Plato's complaint about Homer or built the most magnificent version of Plato's nightmare. For Plato, poetry was never just entertainment. Homer was not simply a beloved author. Homer was the nearest thing the Greek world had to a shared educational system. Children learned courage, loyalty, leadership, piety, grief, war, and the behavior of gods through epic poetry. Before philosophy, before law, before formal argument, there was story. That is why Plato treats storytelling as a political force. A law can be debated. A story heard at the age of 6 becomes part of your emotional reflexes before you even possess the language to challenge it. In the Republic, Plato designs an ideal city and asks a disturbing question. If stories shape character, should a society allow every story to shape its children? His answer is no. He does not reject storytelling itself. He wants storytelling controlled, purified, and made morally useful. That distinction matters because it means Plato might not object to adaptation. He might even welcome it. If Homer teaches the wrong lesson, change Homer. And that is very close to what Nolan does. Plato's attack has two different parts. The first is moral. Homer's gods are powerful, but they are not morally perfect. They deceive. They disguise themselves. They quarrel. They play favorites. They cause suffering for personal reasons. Zeus can be manipulated. Ares behaves like a bully. Aphrodite commits adultery. Poseidon ruins a man's journey because his son was blinded. For Plato, a true god should not behave like a larger, stronger human being with worse impulse control. He gives religious poetry two basic rules. The divine must be the cause of good, not evil. And the divine must be stable, truthful, and unchanging. Homer violates both rules almost constantly. But Plato's second accusation goes deeper. He asks whether poets truly know the things they describe. Homer writes about war. Did generals seek him out for strategy? He writes about government. Did cities ask him to design laws? He writes about medicine, navigation, craftsmanship, and leadership. Did specialists learn their trades from him? No. The poet does not possess the knowledge of the shipbuilder. He imitates what a shipbuilder looks like. He does not possess the knowledge of a king. He imitates the appearance of kingship. Art, in Plato's account, is not knowledge. It is an image of an image, a persuasive surface separated from truth. This creates two tests for Nolan. Does the film tell a morally healthier story? And does cinema itself bring us closer to truth, or only make imitation more convincing? On the first test, Nolan performs surprisingly well. The morally unstable Olympians are largely removed. There is no divine council openly bargaining over Odysseus' fate. Hermes does not descend with Zeus's command. Poseidon is no longer a supernatural father pursuing Odysseus across the sea out of personal rage. Athena remains, but even she becomes uncertain. She may be a goddess. She may be memory. She may be discipline, instinct, or a survival mechanism created inside the mind of a traumatized soldier. That ambiguity would likely feel more acceptable to Plato than Homer's Athena walking through the story in disguise and manipulating events like a brilliant political operator. Plato's highest divine principle is not a temperamental personality. It is the good, stable, intelligible, perfect, and beyond the chaos of appetite. Nolan's gods are distant enough to become ideas. and in a strange way, that makes them more Platonic. Nolan also revises Odysseus himself. The traditional hero can be ruthless, vain, manipulative, and dangerously proud. He can destroy enemies through cunning, and then ruin his own success because he needs the world to know his name. Nolan gives us a hero who feels the cost of his actions. He carries Troy with him. He experiences guilt. His violence is not presented simply as brilliance rewarded by victory. For a philosopher concerned with moral education, this Odysseus is safer. He is still flawed, but the film knows he is flawed. And that difference matters. A story can depict vice without celebrating it. Nolan's Odyssey often looks at heroism as damage rather than glory. Plato might approve of that lesson. Then Plato enters the theater, and everything goes wrong. In Book 7 of the Republic, he describes prisoners chained inside a cave. They have been there since childhood. They cannot turn around. They see only shadows projected on a wall. Because those shadows are all they have ever known, they mistake appearances for reality. Now imagine taking Plato into an IMAX auditorium. The room is dark. The audience sits facing one direction. Enormous moving images appear on a wall. Sound surrounds the body. The spectators willingly surrender their attention to a controlled sequence of shadows. Plato would not need an explanation. He would recognize the architecture immediately. Cinema is the cave with better seats. And Nolan's technical brilliance would not reassure him. It would terrify him. The more convincing the image, the more dangerous the imitation. Hoyt van Hoytema's Mediterranean does not merely represent the sea. It overwhelms the eye. Ludwig Göransson's score does not wait for the audience to reason through a scene. It enters the body first. This is exactly the kind of emotional power Plato feared. In the Republic, music is treated as a force capable of shaping the soul. Certain modes strengthen courage and discipline. Others encourage softness, grief, or disorder. Nolan does not merely tell you that the voyage is immense. He uses image, rhythm, scale, and sound to make immensity happen inside you. Before the mind can ask, "Is this true?" the body has already answered, "It is beautiful." For Plato, that is not a defense of the film. It is evidence for the prosecution. There is one detail that makes the disagreement even sharper. At the end of the Republic, Plato tells the myth of air. Souls prepare to choose their next lives before returning to the world. Some choose badly because they are dazzled by power. Others repeat the mistakes of their previous existence. And among them appears Odysseus. He chooses last. The glamorous lives are mostly gone. But after searching carefully, he finds the life he wants. The life of a private man, unnoticed, peaceful, free from heroic ambition. Plato says Odysseus would have chosen the same life even if he had been first. That is extraordinary. Plato's Odysseus has learned from suffering. He no longer wants fame. He no longer wants command. He no longer wants another horizon. He wants enough. Now compare that with Nolan's ending. Telemachus takes the throne. Odysseus and Penelope sail west. The sea opens again. The journey continues beyond home. It is moving, romantic, expansive. And from Plato's perspective, it is proof that Odysseus has failed to learn the final lesson. Plato's Odysseus chooses obscurity. Nolan's chooses another voyage. One understands that heroic restlessness was the disease. The other turns that restlessness into destiny. If Plato arguing with Nolan is your kind of voyage, leave a like and subscribe. Muse of Bronze is still at the beginning, and every comment, like, and subscription helps these stories travel farther than Odysseus ever managed without losing a ship. And tell me below, would you choose Plato's ending? Peace, privacy, and enough, or Nolan's horizon? So, would Plato have approved Nolan's Odyssey? Yes, at the level of moral revision. No, at the level of artistic method. Nolan removes the petty gods Plato despised. He presents a more remorseful hero. He treats violence as something that deforms the soul. He turns the divine into something closer to symbol, memory, and internal discipline. Plato could admire that educational project. But cinema intensifies the very thing Plato distrusted most. It does not simply imitate. It combines image, music, performance, scale, rhythm, and emotional timing into a machine designed to persuade before reason has fully awakened. A Homeric singer could enchant a room. Nolan can enchant an audience the size of a city. And then there is the final disagreement. Plato believed wisdom meant learning to desire less. Nolan's ending suggests meaning may lie in choosing the journey again, this time freely, and with the person you love beside you. Those are not small variations. They are opposite visions of the good life. Plato's hero becomes wise when he stops leaving. Nolan's hero becomes whole when he chooses how to leave. The argument between philosophy and poetry is older than Plato. He says so himself. It survived oral song, papyrus, theater, manuscript, print, radio, cinema, and streaming. And every new medium makes the same promise. This time, the image will bring us closer to truth. Plato's answer would remain severe. An image becomes more dangerous, not less, when it becomes irresistible. Nolan's answer is the opposite. Beauty is not merely a distraction from truth. Sometimes beauty is the only force powerful enough to make us confront it. So perhaps Plato would approve of Nolan's gods. Perhaps he would approve of Nolan's wounded Odysseus. Perhaps he would even respect the moral seriousness of the film. But once the screen filled the wall, the music entered, and the audience forgot the room around them, Plato would know exactly where he was. Back inside the cave. The only difference is that this time, we bought tickets. These are the stories that keep echoing. Sung by the Muse. Cast in bronze.